It is my great pleasure to welcome all of you distinguished guests, faculty, colleagues, families, friends, and members of the graduating class to the 2018 Middle Creek Career Academies commencement. We are gathered here this evening to celebrate this moment of accomplishment and achievement for you, the senior class of our Digital Media and Engineering and Design Academies. You have worked to produce projects and artifacts that are cut above the rest. You should be proud that you are not only graduates, but that you've acquired an impressive skill set through the powerful instruction of Mr. Eric Sheddick, Mr. Wes Petty, and Mr. Louis Maldonado. It is also important to note that these accomplishments are not those of our graduates alone. Behind each and every one of our graduates is the support of the Middle Creek administrative team and the stories of family and friends. We have also received the tremendous support of our business partners and our advisory boards. I just want to thank you for coming out and supporting us and those who have supported us throughout the year, each of these career academies. And I want to give a big congratulations to the Career Academy class of 2018. Now I'd like to introduce the Digital Media Academy representative, Mr. Wes Petty.
Good evening. Before I introduce our student speaker from the Digital Media Academy tonight, I'd like to kind of piggyback on what Karen said and thank all the people that you see here on stage. So if all of the Academy teachers would please stand for me. These individuals go well beyond the normal hours in the classroom, early mornings, late nights, doing projects, doing field trips, providing opportunities for you guys. They do a tremendous job in making what we believe is the best program in the state of North Carolina and providing you guys with opportunities. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed the time that you spent with them. We'll have many great memories for them. Please give them one more round of applause for the amazing work they do. Thank you guys. Ms. Whittemiller and Ms. Ingram, if you will stand, please. Ms. Whittemiller is our representative tonight from administration. Mr. Martin couldn't be here. Ms. Whittemiller is in charge of our CTE department here and oversees all of us. She, along with all the admin staff, Ms. Ingram, and so many people that support our program here at school and provide us with so many great opportunities for these young men and women, do a tremendous job. So please give them again another round of applause. Thank you, guys. We have many members of both the Digital Media Academy Board and the Engineering Academy Board that serve throughout the year on monthly meetings to help provide different opportunities for these students, help with our internships, and help make sure that our curriculum is aligning with preparing the skills that these students need for business and industry. Some of those are here tonight, some of those are outside setting up refreshment and stuff that you'll see. For those of them that are here, please give them a round of applause and thank them for all that they do for us. There's also several people downtown that do an amazing job for us in central services and central offices for CTE and for Wake County Public School Systems, all the way up to our district superintendent. Some of them might be here. Please recognize them and thank them for all that they do for the opportunities they provide these young men and women. Our Digital Media Academy representative tonight is someone that is highly recognized throughout the program that you guys graduate with. Not only has he excelled in the classroom and the things that he's done in and out of school, he's also a state champion and a national champion. When he comes up here, you'll hear him rattle a little bit from the medals that he has around his neck. His junior year, he and his teammate competed in Skills USA in audio radio production and won gold medal, first place state champion, which made him the representative from the state of North Carolina that went to Louisville, Kentucky to compete against the other states from across the country. He and his partner received the silver medal in the national competitions, so second best in the country. He and his team this year, instead of audio radio, is in news broadcasts, once again being crowned with a gold medal as a state champion and representative from North Carolina. And he and the 3 members from that news broadcast team will travel to Louisville this year as our state representative as he tries to go for back-to-back medals. and be the first student that we've ever had in Middle Creek High School history, hopefully, to come home with back-to-back national medals. So I would like to now bring to the stage your Digital Media Academy student speaker, Mr. Andrew Robertson.
Friends, parents, teachers, good evening and welcome. It's amazing how the time flies. It was just 3 years ago that I, like many of you, started the journey that is the Digital Media Academy. It seems like just yesterday that Mr. Petty was teaching us how to make a digital sandwich inside of Photoshop, or was yelling at Mark to wake up and start doing his work. We all have come a long way since then. Throughout our time in the Academy, we have built strong friendships, grown academically, and become more marketable in our skill sets. We have become certified in various Adobe tools, completed internships, gained real-world experience with businesses, networked with industry professionals, participated in contests through Skills USA, made resumes, and learned how to make our way through a job interview. These opportunities we have gained in the Academy set us apart from our peers. We have taken initiative, and we have proven that we have what it takes to succeed in today's job market. While we take this time to celebrate all that we have accomplished and the times that we have had, I urge us to look to the future and to focus on continuing the standard of excellence that we have learned while we've been in the Academy here at Middle Creek. As we leave this place, some of us will continue to pursue digital media and build upon the skills that we have already learned, while others of us will explore new passions in fields such as business, engineering, medicine, liberal arts, or computer science. But as we go and explore these new fields and blaze the trails of innovation, let us remember the lessons that we have learned in the Academy and build upon these experiences. My hope for us as a class is that whatever we do and wherever we go, that life would become all that we want it to, that our dreams would stay big, our worries would stay small, and that we'd be able to overcome adversity anytime it faces us, and that we would not be afraid to try new things. We are the future. We choose which path we want to travel for ourselves. I'm honored to have been part of such a great class and to be taught by such great teachers. I think that there are many great things in store for us as a class. In the words of the author C.S. Lewis, there are far, far better things ahead of us than any we leave behind. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Eric Sheddick. I'm the Engineering and Design Academy representative, and I'm here with all of you as well to congratulate and recognize all the Academy graduates for the year of 2018. Over the past almost 4 years now, we have seen these students climb through the ranks of their development, learning skills that are required in industry. If I can leave you all with a few reminders tonight, is that to continue to always define the problem. Make sure you collaborate. Make sure you work with others, whether you want to or not. Always remember to use your resources, and by resources, keep in mind that can be hardware, that can be software, that can be connections, knowledge that you've gained through training, certifications, and the classes that you have taken and that you will, of course, continue to take. Keep in mind that you will make mistakes. It's inevitable, and that is fine. Just make sure that you learn from those mistakes, and remember, especially as you have heard in numerous of your classes, to stay productive. You have completed numerous in-depth projects and experiences from your courses that you can take with you into your futures. You all have been very well versed in various industry-related tools, and I encourage you all to continue doing so. I'm also here to recognize a distinguished Engineering Design Academy student, Tyler Rowland. And if I can say one thing, he has continuously to challenge himself both in and outside of school, even when it means spending about 3 weeks to work on designing or solving a software issue. So please welcome Tyler Rowland. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming tonight. I'm Tyler Rowland, and I'm a student in the Engineering and Design Academy here at Middle Creek. Let me just start off by saying, everyone, we made it. We made it through these 4 years. We made it. We've got 2.5 weeks left, and then we graduate for real. Let me tell you that my high school life has been full of ups and downs, but there's been one constant throughout all 4 years of high school, and that has been the students and teachers and the community that the Engineering Academy has provided for me as not only a group of like-minded individuals, but as a support system to lean on whenever I need it most. From the beginning of high school, I knew I would enjoy the experiences that were coming up in my future. Started off with a class of about 12 people. One of them meant to sign up for the Digital Media Academy, but they filled out the wrong form. But they were stuck with us for the year. After that, they dropped out, but we stayed together as that class. And even though it was a small classroom setting, I feel like while some classes, and I believe the Digital Media Academy, thrived in the larger classroom setting, I feel like the Engineering Academy thrived more in the smaller classroom setting. Because not only have we been through a lot together, but the smaller classroom setting allowed for us to create closer bonds and friendships. Some of my favorite high school memories involve this class of 10 to 12 students. We've been through thick and thin together. We've been through meter sticks, hidden backpacks. We've been through many other rigorous projects and tasks that our teachers have assigned us. But even though we didn't always get along 100% of the time, we always knew that we had a place to serve as a community no matter what, that we could fall back on. Over these past 4 years, we've experienced so many different things that I believe, at least in my case, have impacted us positively. We've been working on these various group projects, whether that be making CAD models of birds and our random ideas, to building entire bridges to be tested and punched, but that's a story for another day. We've gotten hands-on lab experience. We've gotten to go on field trips that give us a look into the various fields of engineering and what the workforce looks like. And we've even gotten on-the-job training by doing the internships, which even if it wasn't mandatory, I feel like I would have done it anyways because it has a positive impact and it looks good on a resume. Not only have these experiences shaped our characters as individuals, but they've given us memories that at least I personally will never forget. I can't wait to see what the future has in store for all of you great students that have gone through these years with me, and I can't wait to see what you do in the future. Thank you.
Our guest speaker this evening is Miss Erin Sterling Lewis. Erin Sterling Lewis is a native of Illinois but grew up in Yazoo City, Mississippi. She earned a Bachelor's of Architecture from the University of Kentucky in 2002. Before founding In Situ Studio in 2010, Erin worked for over 8 years at Frank Harmon Architect, PA, where her foundation of practicing architecture with emphasis on critical design and environmental responsibility began. Erin is involved in various community outreach and volunteer programs. From 2004 to 2006, Erin served on the Raleigh Historic Development Commission. She served on the Raleigh Planning Commission from 2009 to 2015. In 2010, Erin joined the AIA North Carolina Board of Directors as the Young Architects Forum Director and is now AIA NC Immediate Past President. She is also a founder of Activate NC, which is a statewide AIA NC outreach initiative to strengthen the civic role in architecture and design. Erin occasionally teaches design studios as professor in practice and serves on the advisory board for the North Carolina State University College of Design School of Architecture. Erin Sterling Lewis.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm truly honored and excited about this opportunity. First and foremost, congratulations. A little bit about myself. I am here because of my commencement speech given to me at the University of Kentucky 16 years ago. And one of the things that our president, who was our commencement speaker that day, said that I never forgot. He said, if you ever find yourself in a position professionally where you have to make a choice between what will result in you being comfortable or remaining comfortable or being uncomfortable, always choose uncomfortable. So that's why I'm here, because I have never given a commencement speech before. And when I was asked to do this, I thought, oh my goodness, I am so nervous. This is terrifying. What a huge responsibility, but it's moreover an opportunity. So again, thank you for having me and letting me be as uncomfortable and excited as I am right now. So yes, congratulations. This is a really big deal. It's such a pleasure to have heard from two of your classmates about what you guys have been up to over the last years here in high school. So a little bit about myself and our firm. I am one of the co-founders of In Situ Studio, and talk about uncomfortable. One of the most uncomfortable things I ever did was start an architecture firm. My business partner and I did so in 2010 when the unemployment rate for architects was at its peak in the recession. So some of the people that we convened with thought we were idiots, and some thought we were geniuses. We're still trying to figure that out. But we love what we do, and we're happy that we are in our 8th year. This is the city in which we practice. This is Raleigh. You guys are probably familiar with the skyline. This is taken from the future Dix Park. It's one of my favorite views of the city, and it's a reminder to me about the various layers of our city and the growth that you can see is ready to be had in the city. And I love practicing in Raleigh because it's a small enough town. It's still trying to figure out who it needs to be. And in my opinion, it needs designers like our office and like you to really come in and make changes. So it's really an honor to practice architecture in a place where you can see the change that you create. The circle is where our office is. I put this up here to basically invite you to our office. We have a unique firm in the sense that we're just north of downtown, and we actually have a bookstore in the front. We're located pretty much diagonally across the street from Krispy Kreme, which is a major landmark in Raleigh that I'm sure all of you know about some way or another. But like I said, there's not very many architecture firms that open their doors to the general public. We did this on purpose. We have a storefront in a community, and we love having people come in and see what we do. And we lure them in with our friend's bookshop in the front. So it's a very vibrant setting. So again, anytime you guys find yourself over on Person Street, pop in and say hi. This is a little bit, these are some snippets of some of the work we do. We practice almost exclusively in modern design, modern architecture. And the name of our firm, In Situ Studio, In Situ is Latin. I don't know if you guys took Latin here at Middle Creek, but it's Latin for in its natural position or in its original place. And Matt, my business partner, and I decided to name our firm after an idea as opposed to after ourselves because it kind of forces us on a daily basis to be reminded of the nature of what we practice, which is that every project, every site, every client is a new opportunity. And so our goal would be that if I didn't tell you we did all of those projects, you may not think that it all came out of the same office. It helps keep us from being bored, that every project is as different as it is, and we have a lot of fun. This is our team. We're a really small office. We, as you can tell from this picture, we do have a serious one, but we prefer to show this one because it really does show this is what we're like all day. We take our work very seriously, but we don't take ourselves very seriously, and I do think that's really important. Something tells me you guys probably are a bit like that also, so don't lose that. So that's a little bit about me. Now I want to talk about you guys and share with you a bit of what I thought could be interesting to hear tonight on such a special evening. And one thing that we all have in common, of course, is design, a love for design. And in doing a little bit of research about you guys and your program and looking back at my high school days, I realized you guys are incredibly lucky Sounds like you know that. To have been formally introduced to design at such a young age. You've probably already figured out that design or design thinking has become for you a way of seeing the world. It is a lifestyle. It goes home with you. You don't just leave the school and don't think about it anymore. It is with you. As you probably know, it comes with an impulse to question everything, a desire to solve problems. Sometimes when they don't even exist, you create your problems so that you can solve them. And basically a desire to make everything better. I think also in the spirit of uncomfortableness, this is where design starts, as you know. I'm sure over the years you've received lots of assignments that start like this. Somebody tells you of the problem or the opportunity, and this is what you have to look at. You've got to extract from your brain and your resources and each other collaboratively what it takes to actually put something on the paper. And that's horrifying, but also exciting. And so we have this rule in the office. Every single project for us and for you starts this way. And we kind of see it as 50-50, exciting and terrifying. And as long as we stay a little bit more excited than terrified, we know we'll be fine. Especially in light of the fact that, as you also know, design is a practice that has no right answers. It also means there are no wrong answers, so that's great. But every time we approach a project, we think, can we do this? Can we really do this? And second guess ourselves. Creativity is really messy. This is what our white piece of paper, our clean slate turns into. I'm sure you have experiences like this where you're just getting it out. It is so messy, so intense. So we take a chicken scratch drawing like this that looks like we may have done it with our left foot, but it took a couple hours actually of all of us sitting around and thinking, and there's a lot of symbolism in here, and eventually it becomes things that we refine, continue to iterate, and we finally finish and create built work, which is incredibly rewarding. So the other important thing about design, if you haven't figured it out yet, you definitely will. It's that you really never know where the pursuit and the practice of it will take you. It's imperative, I think, to be open and let it take you where it needs you. You have a lot of problems to solve in what lies ahead of you, and the world needs you, as cheesy as that sounds. It's very serious. I also got to thinking about you guys and did a little bit of math, and I think I'm right in saying that you guys sort of own this century. If I've done the math right, you've got to be the first high school graduating class who has only ever existed in the 21st century. I think I have that right, give or take. I'm not sure what all your birthdays are. But you literally rung in the new century, and now you have the rest of it in front of you. And so what are you going to do with it? You know, I mean, no pressure, but here's your clean slate, and good luck. This is going to be great. And that's all I have to say. Just kidding. So in celebration of your century, this really is your century. Congratulations. I wanted to spend a little bit of time tonight looking back at the 20th century as a means of inspiration for you. I like to try to learn things everywhere I go, so I thought I'd maybe take a little opportunity to teach you a little something and look back at history. Because if you probably know from already studying design here at Middle Creek that history is just as important as the future as we look at design, where it's been and where it's going. So a quick little story about some of my favorite designers who have ever lived. So back in 1999, the end of the 20th century, Time magazine created a list of the best of the 20th century, appropriately. And I don't know, you probably don't know this. I hope you don't know this. If you do, try not to be bored. But can you guess what was voted the best design of the 20th century? I'll give you a hint. It was designed in 1946. So you might be thinking iPhone. Nope, 1946. The best design of the 20th century was this. It was a chair. A super simple chair. This is called the Eames molded plywood chair. It is simple, it is honest, clean, it's easily mass-produced, and therefore accessible to everyone. I love the fact that it's timeless. This identical chair is still in production today, which is something that you really can't say about very many things that were designed and created 72 years ago now. So this is it from the back, from the side, super simple, and I guarantee you this was iterated upon for years before they actually pulled out what looks like it took about an hour to create. And this is a zoomed-in detail. So while I personally think this is an amazing chair, amazing design worthy of all its accolades, I actually think it was named Best Design of the 20th Century, not only for its design, but also because of what it and its designers and the story that they are all connected to is about. So who were the designers? These are the folks I mentioned earlier, some of my favorite people who've ever lived, Charles and Ray Eames. They're a married couple, and their relationship, like I said earlier, was very similar to yours in the 20th century. Charles, who's the man, the Charles and Ray, it kind of throws people off, but you can kind of figure it out. Charles was born in 1907, and Ray was born in 1912. So they almost completely owned their century like you guys do. But not quite. So I assure you, though, they took their century and their role as designers very seriously throughout their entire life. Charles and Ray Eames are two of the most important designers of the 20th century because of the way they demonstrated through tireless iteration and exploration how modern design can and should be used to improve the quality of life, human perception, understanding, and knowledge. They really held on to that and did as much as they could with that. So in the late 1930s and 40s, they began exploring new technologies and methods for creating compound curves in plywood. This was what they were pursuing in the realm of design because they wanted to make comfortable seating that was also beautiful, that could be purchased for anyone in any setting, so in your home or in your office, and that's where you typically find these chairs now and certainly back in the 20th century. But back then, plywood was a relatively new material that had been primarily used for building construction. And, you know, they looked at this material and they're seeing it go up and part of this construction out in their city, and they say, that's not enough. I think we can do something with this material. What else can we do with it? Where's the opportunity in this? One of my favorite quotes that Charles says is, "We wanted to make the best for the most for the least." And to me, if you think about that, that is actually a really beautiful American and democratic goal. So this is what they set out to do. So I know I mentioned earlier when I started talking the importance of being open to things in design and never thinking that you're in control of or should be in control of exactly what your pursuit and your future is. And so they were not, and this slide demonstrates this. So in the spirit of being open, they became a little bit distracted by their work in the 1940s. So if you remember from your history, 1940s, World War II was going on, and the U.S. Navy actually got wind of the work that Charles and Ray were doing, the groundbreaking work they were doing with plywood. And they actually, the U.S. Navy contracted with them to design plywood leg and arm splints that could be mass-produced for wounded soldiers because at the time the only material that was used to make splints for arms and legs was metal, which was very sharp and uncomfortable and resulted in gangrene and soldiers losing their limbs and sometimes even their lives. So these are examples of, or zoomed in and zoomed out shots of those leg splints. You can see the relationship between the beauty of this super functional, necessary product and the chairs that they made. Again, I really love this example of the importance of being open to where design can take you where it needs you. Design led them down this very unexpected path in the 1940s that resulted in them basically saving limbs and lives of thousands of people. And by the way, they also, under that same contract with the U.S. Navy, designed airplane fuselages, stabilizer tails, and even a prototypical pilot seat, which you can imagine was probably really beautiful also. So after the war, they resumed their work with making beautiful furniture for the American people, and I just want to share one more with you because, in my opinion, I think this is one of the most iconic objects of the 20th century modern design. So it came after they practically perfected the art and science of creating those complex curves in plywood, and then they started to think, well, what else can we do with it? So if you're not already familiar with what I think is the most iconic object of the 20th century, it's another chair, and this is called the Eames Lounge Chair and Ottoman. They're very creative with their naming, but they're very straightforward about it. So this chair was actually debuted in 1956, but if you read up about it, it took them years and years to design and to perfect. This chair is known as America's favorite chair, and it, like its sister, if you will, that I shared with you earlier, it's also still manufactured and sold today. To me, this chair is almost painfully beautiful, and it's also immensely comfortable, which you can't always say about too much modern furniture. I think they were aware of that and wanted to tackle that. But what I really love about this design is how restrained it is, and maybe in your design pursuits here at Middle Creek, you've realized that reducing things down to only what they need to be is really, really hard work, but it's very rewarding. And this is a chair that is nothing more than it needs to be. It's comprised of only 3 materials: steel for the structure, the rosewood veneer plywood for the form, and the cushion and the leather for comfort. So beautiful. The way this chair is put together is very transparent. The whole thing is really exposed. In fact, Charles and Ray Eames were more excited about this kind of drawing of the chair and exposing how it goes together than they were the final product. And there's a fun YouTube video of them debuting the chair on the NBC's home show. And the host really wanted them to sit in the chair and do all this stuff with the chair, and they really wanted to showcase the video of somebody putting the chair together. I thought that was really great. So just another zoomed in detail about just the craft of this and how much work you can imagine it took to get this chair to be as perfect as possible. So, just a few more things really quickly about the Eames, rewinding a little bit from 1956, another part of their story, also in the spirit of being open to where design takes you. This was post-molded plywood chair and pre-lounge chair and ottoman, and in the spirit of mass production, which they excelled a lot in mass production, they allowed design to lead them down the path of architecture, specifically in the realm of affordable housing, because they saw this as a need post-war in our country. So like the chairs they designed and mass-produced, they set out to create designs for houses that could be constructed fast, affordably, and beautifully for the American people. This is one of those houses. This is the Eames house. This is a house for themselves, but they designed several like this, so prototypical houses that were affordable. It's located in Pacific Palisades, California, and Charles and Ray Eames moved into this house after it was completed in 1949 and died in this house. And I love thinking about this and looking at this because architecturally, if you were to think about and not know much about style and history in architecture, if somebody told you this was designed in 1949, much like that chair, you probably wouldn't imagine something would look like this. They were completely cutting edge, embraced modern technology and construction techniques, and really made a house that is a sign of its time in such a technological way. So Charles and Ray Eames, they really embraced and took seriously the power of design, which I know and trust you guys will do once you leave this school and go out into your century. They didn't stop at housing. In fact, that's just when they were getting started. So their pursuit and practice in design in general and their openness, again, to all the possibilities and problems to solve led to them having impact in the 20th century on art, science, architecture, process, prototypes, exhibition, film, photography, furniture, graphic design, and even toys. They truly said no to nothing and were open to everything. So 2 more quick things. This is a slide that shows something they did in 1964. They were hired by IBM, which was kind of up and coming at that time, to design and build an experience for their pavilion in the New York City World's Fair. And basically what they did is created an immersive video installation that represented their and IBM's prediction of the future with regard to emerging technology such as computers, because again, this was 1964. This is a short film, just one little clip of a short film that they made called Think, which drew parallels between computer and the human brain, something you guys probably think a lot about, but back then nobody was thinking about that. So this was completely groundbreaking, and they were really excited to be a part of that. And lastly, this is a clip of some of the scenes from a film. This is one of the last projects they actually worked on. This was from 1977, and it's a short film called The Powers of 10. Charles actually died the following year, and Ray died 10 years to the day after that. So this was really a masterpiece and one of the last that they ever did together. This is actually one of the first things you study in most design and architecture schools, and I'm not going to give it away. But it's, in short, it's a film that is about the relative size of things and scale of things in the universe. Nobody was thinking about how to represent macro and micro at the time. So I heard Tyler say earlier out here that you guys have 2.5 weeks left of school, so I'm going to give you a homework assignment, which is to look this up on YouTube and watch it. It's only 9 minutes. And so that you can get to know Charles and Ray Eames a little bit better. Here they are. So in closing, I just would like to share with you some of the general guiding principles in summary of the work of Charles and Ray Eames. They're ones that we try to abide by in our office at In-Situ Studio, and I hope you do too. So upon the emergence of any new project or problem they set out to solve, they ask themselves 3 simple questions that I hope you keep with you. Does it interest and intrigue you? Can they make it better? And will they have serious fun doing it? I think the value they placed on those 3 questions allowed them to change the world in their century. And their legacy continues to live on today in a lot of the important aspects of design, including the iPhone, actually. Steve Jobs was a huge fan of the Eames. So they were not afraid of anything. They saw everything as an opportunity. They were open to everything. And moreover, they took very seriously the responsibility they had as designers. And I think that's something really important too. So in closing, my question to you is, what will you do in your century, and what will you do with your responsibility? I want to thank you again so much for having me here tonight. I'm really excited to see where you guys go. Congratulations.
Let's commence. We'll start by recognizing the Digital Media Academy graduates. Deborah Cormel. Carl Dudra. Leah Garrison. Jonathan Hamill. Henry Holliday. Alexander Moore. Kyan Narens. Alan Wynn. Milan Pavlovic. Madeline Rabadou. Andrew Robertson. Hannah Reininger. Nathaniel Schwint. Mark Shanahan. Andrew Shipman. Cameron Sozio. Jason Stinnett. Samantha Tremont. And now to recognize the graduates of the Engineering and Design Academy.
David Burris. Aiden France. Benjamin Navarro. Tyler Rowland. Isaiah Sue. Benjamin Smith. Christian Spina. Drew Young. Jesus Zuniga Rodriguez. And congrats to all of our Middle Creek Academy graduates.
Let's give our graduates another round of applause. On behalf of Principal Martin and the entire administrative staff at Middle Creek High School, we would like to take this opportunity to thank the members of our advisory boards, our business partners, our Wake County Public School System, and Middle Creek High School board members, especially our teachers, for this event tonight and the role that you've played in these students' accomplishments. Graduates, congratulations again on your achievement. Would you please stand for the recessional?